Alright, hello guys. I am zanderfever and I'm a Protoss player. I play on the North American server and I just want to start commentating some games. Um, so this is a game I just played earlier today with a friend of mine on a map that I've never played before. In fact, I don't even know what this map is called. All I know is that it's a cool map. It was a fun game. It's a short game. This is just my first time commentating, so I just thought I would do a friendly game. This is Texmix. He's a friend of mine. I've played him in tournament where he beat me, and we sort of played off and on ever since. Um, but yeah, so it's a PvP. You can tell because it's a Protoss and then another Protoss over here. But yeah, so right now you can just see me chatting, just like talking about that fact that I don't know the map, and the Dark Lord is observing, and he's just helping me out, telling me where the spawning points are because he's a nice guy. But you can see just simple PvP. I decided to go for Blink Stalkers of this just because I want to stay a little away from Colossi because Colossi are so dominant in Protoss versus Protoss. But this is a pretty simple game. If you look at the map, it's a kind of a really cool little mechanic with just this little tiny destructible rocks at this choke. This serves to actually widen the choke later on in the game if you want to, because if you can take this and then move units into your natural, because you can tell that the natural actually has a wide choke, and if you're trying to move a large army, taking this out would probably be really beneficial in moving your army immediately to defend instead of them having to funnel through here, especially if you have like a lot of stalkers or like just larger units. So that's really helpful. So if we just look at each of our bases, you can see my assembler is just coming up. I have a pylon and the gateway is just coming up. In Texmix's base, it looks basically identical, except his gas isn't finished yet. His gateway is just finishing. He went for a more economic build, I believe, with the later gateway and the constant pro production. I just went for the classic 12 gate. Just a very simple, stable beginning. So my cybernetics core is now coming up, and it's just me making sure there's no pylons just here placed, because warping in pylons in the middle of your opponent's base is always annoying if you're the one just getting their units warped in there. But so yeah, just take a look at the resource counters to see that we are basically identical in food counts right now with 22 each. Really the only difference is that I have a little more on the resources side with the gas because I got the earlier gas geyser. But really it's just each other scouting each other, trying to find out what's going on. And so far, basically nothing's really shown yet, because really it's the building that gets placed right after the cybernetics core that really tells you what's going to happen. Because you can tell if it's a robotics facility that they're probably going to go for Colossi. You can tell if it's a Citadel of that's not Citadel of Doom, that's StarCraft 1. But if it's a Twilight Council, then it's probably going for Blink or Fast Charge or maybe even Dark Templar. It could be risky to go High Templar very quickly, which is why I'm not saying that right away. But it's really beneficial to see the next, especially if it's a Stargate, and it's even more beneficial if you see absolutely nothing for like a full minute, because then you know that there's something hidden going on. Like there might be a Stargate hidden over here, or hidden over here. Like these are probably good spots. I'm still familiarizing myself with this map, but just looking at the nature of the Xel'Naga watchtowers, which are actually on fire, which is awesome. You can tell by the nature of the Xel'Naga watchtowers and where they are that you can see these little nooks and crannies that'd be great to hide a Stargate and just fly a Void Ray right into the base. Void Rays actually did just get nerfed with their tier, I guess not tier 3, but their really fully charged attack. You can tell that that Blizzard is really listening to the forums, because Void Rays have always been complaining about being overpowered. Even in the beta, they got nerfed a few times. But you can see that right now, Texmix is pushing out, and that I have a Twilight Council, and I'm researching Blink. I really like going 3-gate Blink Stalkers, because it opens up a lot of micro possibilities. You can see that right now, going for that really fast tech, though, is kind of hurting my food count, because you can tell that I do only have 33 food while he has 38 food. But really with the micro, it should work out so that I'm killing things while he's not, just to put it simply. But yeah, you can tell that he's got a proxy pylon. I've got a proxy pylon coming up. I got the watchtower, but Okay, and here's a little interesting thing, is that right now I come here at the perfect time to take out these 2 sentries, which is huge, and the fact that stalkers move faster than sentries means that these are free kills of 100 minerals and 200 gas, plus all the force fields that they might have been able to do. And that's a huge loss for him, and that puts me a little far ahead. And he's retreating with the rest of his army, but with the fact that I have stalkers that have blink, zealots are not going to be that effective just because I can micro away from them when I want to. So now we got to have a little engagement because his army is over here, and now we can see I come in. I have my 1 zealot to take some damage, and that was a misblink. That should blink backwards. But you can see that now I'm starting to creep ahead in food because now we have 49 food to his 38 food, just because I am able to take out his units without dying because I have the micro capabilities of blink. So now he's in a bad position, and so now we're battling. It's Stalker versus Stalker. He actually, I think he has more Stalkers than I do, or it's pretty even, but with Blink, this means that I'm going to end up winning. So right now he's trying to pull back into a better position, but it doesn't really work out so well, but I'm going to start shift queuing and targeting, and plus that Zealot tanked so much damage. And so now it's just if I, look, you can see the shift queue, just to get the units down, and then I blink that guy's away. Look how close this guy is to dying. But now he's alive, and now I have an army. I'm ahead by 10 food or so. I know he has his pile, so I'm coming here to take him out, but he's being a little sneaky right now and coming in with some stalkers right when I'm about to expand. So he kills my pro before I can expand, and now my money is skyrocketing just because I'm unable to macro because I thought that was going to have an expansion coming up. So you can see right now, you go here, I've taken out his army, but now that I have all of these 7 stalkers and he has 3 stalkers that cannot escape no matter what, he's just trying to do as much economic damage as he can. And you'll notice that I'm not running away my probes, just because there's no point in doing that right now, because I have a lead, and if I run away, I'm just going to lose mining time. I'm still fully saturated over here, so I'm not really losing much. I'm just losing the ability to transfer a few probes onto the expansion that I'm going to have to start putting up soon. You can see because my money is high, it's Gateway and Nexus that are coming up. And because I still have this, I can continue warping in here and just pressure his front. Like you'll notice, he was probably wanting to expand, but since he's in such a behind position right now, he doesn't really have that luxury. So my army's going to start moving down here, and I'll be able to attack him. And if you look at his base, he's building a forge just because he needs that little extra bit of defense. Pylon up here, probably because he wants to send the Nexus up here. Like you notice that Pylon is not blocking the possible spot for the Nexus. Alright, so now I'm just basically letting myself macro up a little bit and get up a few more Stalkers just so I can move in en masse. And you'll see that here's my expansion coming up, and I have warp gates coming up. Look, I built an additional 2 warp gates just because I'm going to have the macro capabilities to use them. So now we've got this. Just take out the pylons. It's always great to pick off loose pylons, just because if it happens to supply block your opponent, you're in an incredible position. And now here's another thing about Blink, is you can blink in so you have a better concave. And that concave is key when you have range units against range units, or really any units versus any units, because it means that you have more attacking what little he has. And now Texmix is forced to pull probes, and now I'm able to really just have this game down because I can just micro away stalkers from probes. It's not an at all fair fight. So now his 1 cannon is warped in, but we can see more reinforcement stalkers, and that is GG. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you learned a little about PvP and staying a little bit away from Colossi. Blink Stalkers is a great way to open up if you're confident in your micro. Alright, thanks for watching, guys.